for my friend LeeYen Anderson. Hi, Eric. All right. Bring them on camera. Add. Okay.
Hi!
Good to see you. Your wall is full. It's done, huh?
It is, and I thought I would have my live out here because it's just a beautiful space.
I have a blank wall.
And that too is beautiful. Shall we breathe together?
Yes.
Okay. It's my favorite part of the day to breathe. Haha.
Breathe intentionally.
Yes, I'm just kidding. Okay. Connecting my heart to yours, Susanna. I missed you. I haven't seen you for a while. I look forward to our chat. Creating a sacred space around us, in our audience. So only truth can be present, only love. And we welcome as much synchronicity as needs to be present.
Yes, feeling that connection with you, LeeYen.
How are you today?
I'm well. It's been an interesting day because I normally do my lives in the morning, but today there were a bunch of meetings, and so I did my daily live this afternoon around 1 p.m. my time. Yeah, so just feeling a bit discombobulated, but I feel good settling here with you. It's just always so nice to see you and connect.
Yes, I was just meditating upon us and how we met. And, you know, when I first locked eyes with you in that space of dance and creative, expression of our, I guess, our embodiment, right? It's interesting because you don't always remember how you meet someone. But with you, I totally remember looking in your eyes and we danced together for a bit. Do you remember?
I do. It was at Bhakti Fest and the in body practice that she was teaching, and I think that's part of the aliveness, part of the remembering is that aliveness, that the connection we made uh, was through this movement, and I think there was just a lot of energy. So it's definitely cemented into my heart and mind for sure.
Yes. It's because we were both hyper aware at that point in time. We had called forth every part of ourselves was present. But honestly, I don't remember dancing with anyone else at that. I just remember you. But I did dance with quite a few people. So.
So does that have to do, so that bring that aliveness, that bringing it into present, being present and hyper aware, right? That seems to be one of the keys to synchronicity and intuition.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And my first question to you is, what do you mean by synchronicity, and how do you feel when that happens?
Maybe we can both address this.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just setting the stage, right, for our deep, meaningful discussion.
uh, so so okay, say that one more time.
Okay, so what does synchronicity look like to you, and when it happens, how does it make you feel?
Synchronicity. Okay, so something that I think about, or a memory, and then from the mind space, it becomes real in the material space, um, either within the hour or within the day. And so when there's like a short time that the short time span to realize this sort of match from the mind to the material, then it makes me feel excited. There's a there's an alignment, and I I also get curious. I'm like, what is this? How do I have more of it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so my interpretation of it, and we're just, I guess, shining light into different aspects of it. So it's not right or wrong or any of that. But my interpretation of synchronicity is when, like you said, being hyper aware is part of it. But when we are aware of our thoughts and we focus on whatever it is that we thought about, and then we realize that we notice something that happens that is related to what we thought about before. To me, the span of time, may be a lot more noticeable when it's during the day or short, right? But over time, there's also an ability to see how something that you thought about or that happened to you years before has led to this very moment. That it's like, oh wow, so that's why so many years ago this thought came, or whatever, right?
Right.
So the length of time to me, I think, is only because we are sort of attached to or more cognizant of what's happening like right now, So I think the curiosity and the excitement comes from this sort of affirmation that we're powerful beings, that what we think becomes reality. And sometimes what we think may not actually be something that we, I guess, made up. Sort of like, okay, I want to sit down and I want to think about, I'm just going to like really think about, for instance, my sister, and I'm going to make her call me, right? So sometimes it's not even that, right? It's just a thought came into our mind without us even thinking. It's like, why did I suddenly think of that? And then all of a sudden, something happens that is related to that thought. So this is very different than saying, I'm going to write down my affirmations and my predictions and my visions, and it's going to come true because I'm going to harness that power. Do you see the difference?
Right. Different from goal setting.
Yes, yes. So your question of how can we have more of that then becomes, well, it's not really about sitting down and writing about all the things you want to make happen, and then there's more synchronicity. To me, but let me back up a bit. How I feel when synchronicity happens is a sense of deep gratitude and connection to something bigger than myself, and a reminder that yes, we are powerful, but also we are part of the fabric of reality. And that we have the ability to tap into a timeless space where everything has already happened. And we have a memory of it that is sometimes buried, and in moments and flashes of connection, we are given glimpses, and then you start to notice. Do you kind of agree with that?
Totally.
Yeah. And one of the things that helps our conscious mind to be more connected to that is to celebrate it every single time, right? And have a little, self-affirming dance movement or love or word that is kind of yep, I know you're there, I'm here, we're all connected, and I'm connecting. And every single time we connect more, it becomes a little, you want it to be fun, right? So it's a little like a game, but you're just sort of like giving yourself a point every time. You know what I mean?
Don, my friend Don says, time is an illusion, cause for confusion. True.
So true, so true. And so, but one thing I do want to say about that too is I have had friends that take it to the almost to the extreme, where every single incident becomes something to analyze, something to ask, what is the meaning of this? And what is it trying to teach me? Which is fine and good. But once you get into the flow, you start to realize that some things happen just because they happen. And some things happen because it's meant to happen, and you're meant to take it further. But, there's also a lot of noise and distraction. And if you decide to kind of examine everything, you are tapping into this confusion state.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, and so then the question becomes, how do we know where to focus on the analysis or the meaning making versus just letting it flow and not reading too much into something? And so, yeah, how do we intuitively know what to follow?
Mm-hmm. What I call the thread of genius. Like, where's your where's your thread of genius taking you? So I hesitate to talk about practice because it has become such a yang way of being. And I want to tap more into...
What does yang mean?
So yang being the balancing qualities to yin and yang. right? Um, I feel like everybody knows this, but I'll explain anyway.
Just in case someone out there who's watching doesn't know what yang means.
I know. So yang is absolutely necessary. It is our life force, our ability to stay within this plane of existence requires our energy of doing and being decisive, being, setting out boundaries, being very vocal about our who we are, what we stand for, being in our integrity, and the yang qualities of really energetic presence. So one that is a protector, a stable, safe place of just bright, shining light. Now, the modern world has taken it to the extreme where we are always on this hamster wheel, like going, right? And everything that we learn, everything that we discover becomes one more thing to put on our list. Mm-hmm. So practice being one of them. Like every single day, I have to practice being, and it's not even being, right? Practice doing whatever it is. And I wanted to speak to what you said about being discombobulated because you're so used to going live in the morning and now you have to go live in the afternoon and you feel a little out of sorts. And I would encourage you, invite you to allow for that flow of your life being what it is and being able to tap into your ability to speak and deliver at any time of day, whatever life asks of you. Mm-hmm. And so that yin energy of being receptive to what life brings and the divine feminine qualities of grace and ease and gratitude and really just learning to give so that not so that we are anything. It's just learning to give and knowing that there is abundance and we receive even as we give. And we give because we believe we have so much more to receive. And you can really take the qualities of Mother Earth as one of the embodiment of the divine feminine qualities. But I don't really know like how we got here. I know I was trying to practice, right? Being very yang because it's one more thing we add to it. But how we first hone our skills of connecting to the synchronistic part of our divine path is to follow that curiosity, the passion, and the joy of noticing that we are being taken care of, we are being heard, we are being seen and we humans see those signs as a communication of, yes, I see you, I hear you, and it feels so nourishing. Would you agree?
Yeah, it feels nourishing, life affirming. It feels so life affirming. That seeing, that feeling and hearing is a sense that yes, I belong and you belong on this planet, and it's an acknowledgement of that existence, which is really powerful.
I also want to caution where a lot of people watching others. Others who are maybe more vocal, that share about the synchronistic events that happen in their lives. And these bystanders or people who are watching start to feel left out. Because you just said belonging, right? They start to feel like the universe doesn't take care of me. The universe doesn't see me because I don't have those experiences. Sorry, just letting my dog in. Now, there are a couple of things there. One is when you're too busy watching others, you don't realize what's happening in your own life.
Right.
And two, there is really no such thing as favoritism or superiority in the spiritual realm. Every single one of us are children of the universe. You know, I love that poem, Desiderata, like you too are a child, you know, of the universe. And conversely, when we start to think everyone else is having these experiences except me, that's when ego is talking. And that's when ego is saying, I'm different. I don't get those experiences. And we're like, what makes you so different? You know, you're just like us. But that's the practice, you know, the awareness, coming home to ourselves doesn't just have to be in the mornings, doesn't just have to be at night, although those are the times when I very intentionally make sure I connect. But once we do that, it starts becoming every moment. And how I joked about, oh, I love breathing, you know, my favorite part of the day. Well, you need to breathe every single moment of the day, and connecting with your breath becomes this practice of coming home to yourself. That's on my website, by the way.
Did you write a piece about it?
No, it's just right on the top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't even remember how I would paraphrase if I talk about it, but it's something about how there's so much beauty in coming home to our breath and realizing that we belong at every single moment, you know.
That belonging in every single moment, you know, probably is this opening to the synchronicities, right? If I'm understanding this correctly, it's this net that we're a part of, which is already here existing, and these memories, you know, we've been here before, just in a different different external manifestation. But if it's this net that we all belong and we've done these things, and so the more aware we are, then we can receive more of the information that I guess what I'm trying to say is the more aware of the information that is already present. So it's actually not so much that it's happening in the future, but it's already happened, and that we're aware of it. Or am I making sense at all?
Yeah, so I think you're making it a little more complicated than it needs to be. Yeah. So, and I want to move to having concrete stories. I would love to hear yours, and I would love to share mine, just to give some context to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But the complication becomes when our human mind tries to analyze and tries to put time-based explanations to what's happening. And I would ask, because you asked earlier and I didn't answer, how do we know which thread to follow, right? So this is part of it. our hearts houses our guiding system, not our minds. So we, while you are trying to make sense of it, so if, tell me where I'm wrong, but while you don't quite yet understand the mechanics around it, which if anyone says they do, then it's kind of like, really? So I'm not here to tell you that I understand. I'm here to say that while you are admitting you don't understand, you are also saying, but I've had those experiences and it feels good. So that is what we want to follow. We want to follow those moments of feeling. Can you hear me? Is the thing really loud? Can you hear anything? Okay, good. Okay. There's somebody weed whacking or something. So those moments that we get excited and we get affirmed, we keep following that. We keep going down that thread of genius, right? When you're excited is the message from the universe that you're on the right path. Yeah, that excitement includes, in Hawaii they call it chicken skin, but I call it truth chills, where you just get like this delicious, juicy, nerve ending goosebumps, and it's almost like the universe whispering on your skin, saying,
I love
yeah,
the universe whispering on my skin. I feel that now as we.
yeah. So that is part of it. That is what we are feeling when things are really sort of meant to get your attention. Just like pain is meant to get your attention, to say, not that way, please, turn around. The truth chills are over there, not in this pain-filled moment, So our body really is here to be our partner and our ally in this experience that we call life. And so, yeah, does that explain a little bit?
That helps, yeah, helps to point to uh, allow us to know more about the signposts when we're following the right signposts. When we get those truth chills, I like that. And even the more we talk about truth chills, the more we talk about synchronicities, I feel like you were saying, it tells the universe, yes, we want more of this. We are affirming this.
Yes. Yeah. So I would love to exchange stories around when this happened for us in the past. And maybe we can get some context into what we're talking about.
Josephine's on too. Do you remember Josephine from our?
Hi, Josephine. I remember her. She's an amazing journalist, right?
She's not a journalist, but she's a community activist and a leader in bringing the voices out. So, but not in a journalistic way.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
what is your example?
Oh, okay. So many in the past that I was really trying to think of what can I share, and so much of it has been forgotten, and yet has led me to where I am today. So I can tell you what's happening now that has been building on itself. And the premise is I have always struggled with being Chinese and being, as my mom reminded me so many years ago, being 100% Chinese and not a single drop of any other blood in you. And I had grown up in a culture where I was not taught much of my ancestral knowledge, and I did not connect with it on a really spiritual level. And also growing up with a lot of judgment around what it means to be Chinese. And the growth I've had to move away from that has been amazing these past few years. As I started to notice which parts of the culture I didn't align with, and understanding how that came about because of the history of China, and calling out for more affirmation from the universe about why in this lifetime I chose to be a Chinese.
Right.
If I'm meant to really be who I am, I must connect to my ancestors and connect to why I am culturally who I am, right? So
why this body?
Why this body? Why that family? Why, why any of it? But the key there, which I wanted to mention earlier and I forgot, and I'll say it now, is the asking. We don't just sort of seek without very specifically asking for what it is we need. Because the whole idea of being a free will agent is that we have choices on where we want to take our lives. And even if we talked about how we're predestined to be this or that, or we chose to be this or that, being here means our ability to choose will always have an impact on where we end up. So voicing how we want to be guided is a very, very important part of this practice. So I voiced it. I asked for more guidance on connecting to my ancestors, connecting to the idea of what it means to be Chinese. And so what has happened has been almost miraculous, because all these different parts of my life are pointing to Chinese knowledge and Chinese ancient Chinese spirituality that I didn't see because it was buried under the prejudice of what in my mind was the greedy, materialistic, dishonest, anything for money sort of, character, right? Anyway, so it all started with agreeing to go to China, and then opening myself up to relationships with people in China. It all started very slow and low, and then realizing, actually, so one of the games I played, it's called Spark. The question was, name one favorite book on your shelf today. And I read so many books, so many books. But the first thing that came to my mind was, Wayne Dyer's interpretation of Lao Tzu's, Taoist principles. And that was just like, I just wrote it down. You had to choose one, right? And when I look back, I was like, wow, yeah, I didn't even connect it to China then. It was just one of the books I read, right? And yet I picked it out as my favorite book. And then other things, like I was really looking for a set of oracle cards to buy. and I wanted to be intentional, but I had no idea what I wanted. I didn't really have a teacher. So this was a few years ago, and I was on Amazon and I searched and I just picked one. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but that set of cards, maybe I've shared it with you before. It's by Alana Fairchild, and it was the Crystal Oracle Crystal, I forget. But it has the goddesses, the masters, and the angels in there. So nothing to do with China, right? But here's what has happened since then is that then because those cards guided me so much in my years, I signed up for a course with her. And that's the Soul Guidance Sacred Mentoring course I'm doing this whole year. Again, nothing to do with China.
What do with China?
Except it does have Kuan Yin in there. So then she came out with this new Kuan Yin transmission, and I signed up for that. And this was even after other things happened, but then I realized all she's teaching is about the goddesses that and connecting it to the meridians and to Chinese philosophy. And so I had been asking for more Chinese information and knowledge. And trust me, I've searched, and what I've come up with that a lot of people agree with is that so much was burned in the Cultural Revolution. So many people sacrificed that all the knowledge has been buried, right? Gone underground. And the TCM, that TCM being traditional Chinese medicine, that is being taught today is a very, in a way, childish collaboration of a panicked and desperate regime that needed some kind of medical system for their people. That is the when it was in the Cultural Revolution. So it's not as deep and as spiritual as it was thousands of years ago, which is why I never connected with it, because it's very much of this world, and I was looking for spiritual, right, guidance. So anyway, so now I'm in Kuan Yin transmission, and it's all about the Chinese philosophy. And then I bought her book, and again, it was, a lot of it about China, and she got a lot of it when she went to Tibet. So that's one section of my life that has gone that way. And the other one from crystals, I just really got into healing with crystals and dug around a little more, and was just browsing one day and saw that one of my friends suggested this crystal book, because a mutual friend had asked, what crystal book do you like? And I brought it here. And it is Stone Medicine, a Chinese medical guide to healing with gems and minerals. And I'm learning, and what it's saying is that it's the Taoist tradition. Remember what I said about my favorite book?
Yeah.
The Tao. Yeah. So what the path, right? The thread of genius I'm going down is the Taoist route. And this is all the Taoist principles. And then I had met a new person a few weeks ago, and she's an acupuncturist. And I told her I knew another acupuncturist, and she said, oh yeah, it's interesting, we're from rival schools. And I said, oh, because there are two schools on Oahu. And she said, they're from this one acupuncture school, but I am from the Taoist school. And the Taoist school is different than theirs, because it's to them, it's a little more woo-woo, right? I was like, oh! So that got me looking up, that school, and I'm like, oh, I think I want to take like the course maybe next year.
The names of the schools?
Or
what?
I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, I can send it to you. And then I realized I've had this book for years because I bought it when we first started having like nutritional issues. And this is all about Chinese medicine. And I've recently been opening it up and looking at it and, you know, just finding things in there that I had never absorbed because it's a huge book. It's mostly a reference book. But the page I turned to the other day was all about the heart and the spiritual nature of the heart. And actually, when I noticed a lot, but I noticed when you were trying to say your mind and your heart, and you made a distinction. But you know what? In Chinese medicine, your heart is your mind, and what your mind thinks is a reflection of your status of your heart and your spirit. So many things that I'm really absorbing and really loving, and almost like, wow, so this is Chinese medicine. And I have been avoiding it for so many years, thinking it was something completely different. But the synchronicities in my life have brought me here to where it has become this. I'm so curious and I'm so excited, and it's like a whole new world.
Wow. Well, I'm personally really happy because when I first met you, I was on a woman of color in nature. Like I was seeking women of color, and I was like, "There's an Asian sister, Locke." And getting to know you and like hearing your story about how you were, disconnected from your ancestors, and then now like hearing your excitement for this whole new world, it just makes me really happy.
Yes, and one of the other things that happened was about 2 weeks ago, I had a session with a friend who's a medium, and we went back into a past life, and I was a man, but I was a Chinese medicine healer, and she described what she saw in my tent was this huge sort of apothecary, but all the herbs and everything, and I was treating people in the village, and it was in the mountains, and there's always mountains in my imagination, and I've been so drawn to go to the mountainous areas of China and Tibet and Nepal. But anyway, that was really interesting.
And you are a current medicine woman, with your plant medicine and the oil medicine and the oils from the plants, and now this added wisdom of Chinese medicine. It's just, yeah, very, very synchronistic, one building on top of the other, leading you to your closer to your full expression.
Yeah.
It's just really exciting.
Yes, because I was trying to pick out, and I'm also on a year-long course of herbalism, and it's sort of more magical herbalism, which it is something I really connect with. And we meditate with the plant spirits, and we truly honor the ability of every single human soul to connect with plants and to receive the medicine that they need um, in an intimate relationship. So that is the premise of how we first started as herbalists. In our ancient history, is that we, as a species, received information on which plants to use. A lot of scientists today will tell you that they believe it was trial and error, whereas a lot of historical accounts and oral traditions show that it was truly inspirational connection with plants and a real communication. But why I bring that up was because I was searching for what plant to profile and learn for this week. And sometimes you go down paths you don't know why, but I chose Schisandra berry. And then I started researching on it, and it is, of course, from China. And one of the top 50 herbs that is an amazing adaptogen and has so many amazing benefits for our body. But just really learning about it in the context of how it was used in China in ancient times, and it showed up in, medical texts 4,000 years ago. So it's very much an interesting journey.
Mm. Wow. It's I just reminded of the herbal background that my family comes from, you know. My dad has shelves and shelves. I'm pointing at the garage. Shelves and shelves of herbs, and he's uh, helped people fix their, broken wrists and sprains. And today he got all excited telling me, oh, I'm going to make this herbal chicken soup. And he was like pounding loads of ginger. I was like, that's a lot of ginger. And is it just chicken and ginger? He says, yeah, that's it. Like, wow, this is such ancient knowledge, right? That
Mm-hmm.
I'm not tapped into. Um, and I think when we tap into this leads us closer and closer to those, again, synchronicities, or like allowing for more of the opening to the right path, not right path, but a path that is full of aliveness and joy and passion. And yeah, seeing your excitement now and just the treasures that you're uncovering, it's just really inspiring.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Okay, your turn. Tell us a story.
Well, I was thinking about what story, and then when you said Taoism, it reminded me of a conversation I had just this morning. Um, it has to do with Bruce Lee. I'm in this world of reconciliation, right? How to bridge the Black and Asian communities because there's so much tension. And someone said, oh, maybe, Bruce Lee, he's a philosopher, martial artist. And I was like, hey, I have him on my altar, actually, just so happened. And I really admire him. And I think the world would be different if he was alive, of course. And then I thought, oh, he has a foundation. His daughter um, created, or just his family created, the Bruce Lee Foundation. So this morning, in a discussion, in a meeting, talking about uh, anti-Asian racism, I was speaking to this guy, and he was like, "Oh, well, I practice Jeet Jeet Do. Jeet Kune Do is a form of martial arts that Bruce Lee developed, and so he's a disciple and a a fan, a huge fan of Bruce Lee. And so when I brought this up, he was so tickled, and it's because Bruce Lee also popularized a lot of Taoist principles. What he shares with the public is what he learned from the Tao Te Ching. And so I was like, oh, and now you're mentioning again Tao Te Ching. So yes, I love all the connections and the synchronicities, and just yeah, I appreciate this reminder for me to look for the answers that are already here, that are within me, my DNA, my cells, my history, and to also be still, to be still enough to receive and to remember all the knowledge, because I think it's within us. We're so reliant, I think, on the outside that we forget to open, to tune into receiving for ourselves. And like you said, a lot of it has been burnt, lost, um, and it's now our task to unearth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love that. Were you gonna say something?
Oh, no, I was just saying that that's that's one example of intuition, synchronicity, um, like the most recent one. But if I were to share one that's a bit more longer term, I like how you also reframed the time piece, where I was thinking, oh, synchronicities have to be within a short window. That's not true. Um, on my live just now, I was sharing about this car accident last 2 years ago. Um, the time around the time I met you, actually, where I came out of this car accident unscathed. And when they say your life flashes before your eyes and you get this clarity, like, yeah, that's kind of what happened. And I have the clarity, and the clarity to realize that I wanted to hone my speaking skills. I used to speak competitively in high school, and
Oh.
and I really enjoyed it. Um, and so for me to realize that in that moment, 2018, I remember it was around August. Then I signed up for a class called Speak and Inspire, which was all of September. Fast forward, to the incident of my grandmother. I was ready to share on Facebook Live, to have my throat chakra open in order to speak up about what happened to her, and which led me, here. And I do question, am I making too much meaning out of this? Right? Is this really the path? So in terms of synchronicity, I mean, I still believe that being open and aware to the opportunities and listening and seeing if it still lights me up. I and like you said, not to focus on the pain so much of what happened, but to keep the truth and love and light, keep that at my core, and that has really well, I mean, uh, uh, I should say that the thread of speaking has led me to here, led me to connect with so many people, and brings me so much joy when I, like you, connecting with you for only, like, what, a 5 minute dance, 10 minute dance. It's just, I guess, the thing I'm noticing is that the more I express myself, then the more it connects me to where I need to be, connects me to where I need to go, the people I need to be with, work with, um, and also, like, back to the ancestor piece. By opening by sharing my story and being open with it, actually connected me with a large community of Chinese people that I had no idea about. I grew up in San Francisco, However, my neighborhood is kind of not connected with Chinatown. It's a different part of the city, and yet now I am plugged in because of this I mean, it's a blessing in disguise what happened to grandmother. And you were present to see, the Chinese community gather again for the other incident. Um, but yeah, that's how all these things have led and built up, and for me to also connect deeper with other Chinese people and hear their stories, learn from their medicine and experiences. Yeah, so it's been yeah, really amazing, flowering.
Yes, I really was listening out for that this brings you joy, and you said it, and that felt good, because whatever it is, wherever we go, if it brings us joy, then keep following it. But I also want to speak to how you referenced that I said stay away from the pain. Now, there is a big difference between shoving the pain down and only looking for, joy and peace and happiness, right? Versus
Learn,
um, huh
learning from it.
well, learning from it, but also inviting it to be a part of who you are,
Mm.
without necessarily giving it too much control over you, where it's um, it's a recognition of something hurts. It's a recognition of um, an acknowledgement of that part of you that wants to be heard and wants to be given a chance to direct your where you go next.
Mm.
So when we have an active relationship with our pain, and we give it the voice that it is screaming at us for. And that voice may not come in the term of real speaking, but it's a sense of acknowledgement and meeting, what that the energy and the essence of what that is. And of course, we can say that, oh, we're learning from the pain, but it becomes this really experiential connection that we cannot sit down and journal or like a workshop. Okay, now let's make 3 columns. First column is what caused your pain. Second column is, how often does it happen. Third column is, what is the outcome you want, right? And yes, there's a lot of that, right, in the coaching world, in workshops and soul shops and all of that. The the I think the intent of that is to bring it to your awareness. Um, but if we just sat with our pain on an intimate level of building a relationship with it and accepted it,
Mm-hmm.
and asked it to just be at the table, who knows what might happen to it? Maybe she might start to say, I don't feel so much pain anymore. You know, I feel your love. Whatever it is, I invite you and anyone else who's listening to not shove the pain, not to shut the door on it, not to say you're not welcome here. My life is full of light and love and peace and happiness and joy, but to invite all of that of yourself. Yeah, just really needed to say that.
Yeah, I appreciate you pausing on that point because it's true. It's actually uh, what has brought me here as well. It's this acknowledgement, right? work has been to acknowledge it through writing and speaking on it, but for others it could be different. And I don't know if I ever told you, but I wrote in a I have a published piece in a book called Grace of Pain. Have I told you that?
It might be. Did it come out soon after I met you? And it was your banner for a while?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. I remember congratulating you for that.
Yay! Yeah, and you're reminding me, right, that yeah, love and light is not to suppress and ignore pain, but to embrace and acknowledge that it's a part of us. It's allowing, because we are big enough to absorb even this part of us, to acknowledge and um, yeah, to really allow for this part of us to exist, to have some room for existing, right? And that, it's counterintuitive, but it's that allowing which dissipates the pain. The pain is there because it hasn't been recognized. And the grace of pain in the piece is actually what I've been listening to. My pain, I've been listening, and that's actually my uh, guiding light, my intuition. You know, when I, these cues in our bodies of contraction, of expansion, of pain or comfort or pleasure, it definitely leads us to, you know, take certain actions or to respond to our environment in certain ways because of our bodily reaction. And so, yeah, I mean, it's led me to you because I went to Bhakti Fest that year in 2018, needing to be free and move so that this pain can move as well.
Mm. I love that. You know, we're kind of we're one of the reasons that we connect so well is because we speak the same language, right? And I love that you are, you know, spreading your light through your Facebook lives, and it, based on all the comments you get, you are, you know, being such a bright, shining light to so many people. So thank you for doing the work. And um, in this day of so much, you know, upheaval, there is this call to so many of us to stay grounded and stay um, in our truth, and to keep uh, spreading love, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I feel the same with all the beautiful work that you're doing. So grateful for uh, the tribe that you've built, that growing so immensely. Do you want to share a little bit about that and let folks who are watching know, you know, the great work that you're doing?
Oh, thank you. Um, so I am the founder, and I think you put it on the little um, story today. I'm the founder of the Sensible Tribe, and how I describe it is we're an international lifestyle organization numbering about 35,000 today. And we are all over the world, and we tap into energetic tools such as essential oils, number one, with Young Living essential oils, and meditation and yoga, as well as really just these kinds of, I guess, discourse around what it means to live a meaningful life. And of of the 35,000, I would say I have about 2 to 3,000 that are embracing the lifestyle of uh, living that meaningful life through sharing the power of plant magic. And so there is that essence and that element of leadership development of my work as well. And so that is truly about empowering mostly women, some men, but it's about empowering ourselves to really step into a purposeful, meaningful work. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I do. And that's also really interesting because part of the origin of Young Living is about tapping into ancient knowledge and the Ningxia wolfberry drink that a lot of us drink every day. It's our secret to longevity and immune system support. And it comes from the upper region of the Yangtze River in China. And, you know, for a while there was a lot of hesitance about, oh, don't tell anyone, well, in my mind, right, that it comes from China, but we all know it comes from China because there's this prejudice around what comes from China. And yet today, I'm so proud to say it comes from China because it has thousands of years of history around consuming this berry as a medicine. And just the fact that there are, you know, people who live beyond 100 years old of higher concentration in these areas is testament to what an amazing herb it is. And so, you know, even my journey with Young Living has become this clear, I guess, message from the universe that that too is part of your uncovering of your ancestry. So it's just been amazing.
I always get so much out of connecting with you. It's the wisdom that you weave from your own life experience, the people that you work with, the way you distill information so beautifully and clearly, the way that you, you know, listen so intently and, you know, bring it to the fore and pulling that thread and say, yeah, let's take a look at this. And yeah, I really appreciate all of that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for reaching out and asking me that question. And I immediately was like, it's more than just a one sentence response. We need to talk about it because um, there's so many different reflections we could have on it. So I so appreciate you being that, I guess that person that wants to listen and discuss things with me because it is rare to find someone, like I said, you know, speaking the same language, but also as I speak, you teach me and I teach myself even as I uncover what wants to come through. So I so appreciate all these times when we get to connect.
Yay! And this is not the last, of course.
Exactly,
I'm
for sure.
excited for whatever next question wants to present itself for discussing.
Yay. Yes, and I just want to request that you save this video because I would love to share it with my audience on YouTube.
Oh, on you want to? Okay.
All right, so send me the copy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to automatically save on live on Facebook, and then
Right, but when you stop, I'm just giving you some technical instructions. But when you stop the live, it's going to say download. So I want you to hit download.
got
Okay.
it. Okay.
Okay.
Hit download and also share on.
Yes.
Great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
I love you, Susanna.
Love you. Talk to you soon.
Yes. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.